Well, we are finally there, the knockout stages of the World Cup. As far as India is concerned, it's going to be make or break starting in the morning. Bangladesh versus India. This is where India had wanted to be. We felt that Bangladesh was the team that we wanted to play perhaps in the quarterfinals. But is it going to be a walkover? I'm sure that Sunil Gavaskar and Brian Lara, who join us now, would perhaps say that it's not going to be a walkover and that's going to be a real competition. Sunny, Brian, thank you both very much for joining us. Sunny, let me come to you first. And I must also introduce my colleague Nikhil Naz, who's now been in Australia for more than a month. And I can tell you he's not just watching cricket, he's having a great time there as well. We'll talk to him about that in a few moments. But first, let me come to you, Sunny. I don't know if you know this. I was just on YouTube a little while earlier on. And you know the mocha jokes that we have about every team coming up to India and say, and then, and then some Indian fans saying, no, we're going to end up winning. Now, Bangladesh has a reverse mocha joke where they're making fun of Indian fans and basically saying that, look, watch out, boys, we are here to win. Now, that might be rhetoric, but it's backed by a certain commitment and a certain ability. Do you agree?
I do, because this is a different Bangladesh team from what we've seen in earlier World Cup editions. This is a Bangladesh team that is committed. This is a Bangladesh team that believes in itself. This is a team where, if you have a look at their campaign so far, everybody's made a contribution. The openers at one stage, then when the openers have not done well, the numbers 3, 4, 5 have done, and now their promotion given to Mahmudullah to bat up the order at number 3 and 4 has been absolutely terrific, because what that has done is given this talented batsman the opportunity to play more overs. Then they have Saqib, and then they have also Mushfiqur down the order who can keep the momentum going, and their spinners can be pretty useful as well. They have more than a decent new ball attack, and so India should not take it lightly at all.
Brian, how do you assess Bangladesh's chances against India?
I think Mr. Gavaskar is being very diplomatic. Being an Indian, I don't think he wants to say exactly what's going to happen. But India is way too strong for Bangladesh. Bangladesh getting into the quarterfinals, great achievement. Beating England in a sort of a virtual final was an excellent performance. But India is very strong. India is looking to win this World Cup. And no uncertainty have to step in when they're playing against Bangladesh. They're going to be positive. And my player, Virat Kohli, I believe is going to have a big game tomorrow. So I am India steamrolling Bangladesh. Sorry about that.
Brian, do you know, you're talking about Kohli. I'm just going to rattle off some numbers against Bangladesh. He's played Bangladesh 6 times. He has 3 centuries, an average of 126, including an 82-ball 100 in the inaugural match of the 2011 World Cup. So that's Virat Kohli against Bangladesh there for you. But Brian, let's talk a little bit about India's bowling. India's taken 60 wickets in 6 games. We keep talking about our batting. But Brian, would you agree that 60 wickets in 6 games means that the weaker link in the team, if you can call it that, is actually coming to the party?
Very much so. And what was impressive was to see the Indian fast bowlers running the West Indian batsmen at Perth. Many years ago, it was the opposite. And I'm very impressed with the trio of fast bowlers and the spinner coming in to play a huge part. India's got a great team, a great all-round team. And another thing that was very evident in Perth against the West Indies, which I'm, of course, being West Indian, I'll talk about, the Indians was better in the field. That was not the case, and Mr. Gavaskar will tell you that has never been the case between a match with India and the West Indies. So for me, their all-round game is exactly where they wanted, and I agree with you, their bowlers are outstanding, as well as their batsmen, and the entire team is moving in the right direction.
Sunny, did you ever believe that you would be around at a time when we've got 3 Indian bowlers who regularly touch 140? Even Mohit Sharma touches 140 regularly. Umesh Yadav is properly quick. Mohammad Shami is also somebody you could probably call right arm fast. Did you ever expect a scenario? 3 fast bowlers. You used to open the bowling at one time for us, Sunny. I mean, you would know best about fast bowling.
Absolutely, never thought that India would be able to produce, bowlers of that speed quite regularly. And there are a couple more like Varun Aaron and Ishant Sharma who are not a part of this squad. So there is a great crop of young fast bowlers who will bowl at more than 140 kilometers per hour, 145 kilometers per hour sometimes. And that is only good news. And I think all of this really has got to do with Kapil Dev, because Kapil Dev was the one who showed them that that could be done. The way he bowled on Indian pitches and also on overseas pitches, he was the one who encouraged younger Indians to take up to fast bowling. Otherwise, till then, what was happening? It was Sunil Gavaskar bowling an over or two so before the spinners came on. So that is not happening, and I think that is good, because the opening batsmen of the opposition, they are getting tested against some really good stuff from the Indian new ball bowlers.
Okay, Brian, let's perhaps get ahead of ourselves just a little bit. Assuming we win the match against Bangladesh, then we're looking at India versus either Pakistan or Australia. Pakistan are gloriously unpredictable at the best of times. And then it's South Africa who are through versus either New Zealand or the West Indies. And I'm told that you feel that the West Indies are going to come through in that match. Are you playing with your mind there, or are you playing with your heart?
I'm playing with my heart, but I believe that if they play with their mind and their heart, I think they would definitely have an opportunity to surprise New Zealand. New Zealand is sitting down in New Zealand, and they're playing all their matches there. And I know they are very worried about leaving their shores to play the finals of the MCG, but they've got to get past the West Indies team, an unpredictable West Indies team. But I remember in 1996 when the tournament was played in the subcontinent, the West Indies came up against South Africa. And we won that match. I think it was either Lahore or Karachi. Stumbling into that stage of the tournament, that knockout stage of the tournament, we destroyed South Africa. I believe the same can be done with New Zealand. They're sitting well, they're playing great cricket, but if they take the West Indies lightly, they could be surprised.
Okay, gentlemen, I know you need to leave us, but just a quick couple of questions about this. Now, Brian, you are considered the greatest left-hander of your generation, perhaps the greatest batsman of your generation. Sunny, a lot of people consider you most certainly one of the greatest batsmen of all times with Brian. You are a right-hander, Brian a left-hander. Let's talk about Jayawardene and let's talk about Sangakkara. Brian, if you look at him statistically alone, Sangakkara is right up there with the greats of the game. As a left-hander, tell us about what he brought into the game as a left-handed batsman.
I think Sangakkara was just outstanding. I mean, he's the glove man for Sri Lanka for many, many years, and his batting just grew. We all knew how talented he was. And at the age of 37, calling it quits before the World Cup started, he said this is going to be his last World Cup, maybe his last one-day internationals. And to have 400s on a trot was tremendous. And he looked ominous today. He looked like someone who had a plan. Wickets was falling around him, and he was unable to carry on. But over the years, he's done great service for Sri Lankan cricket. You speak to any opposing player from the early part of the 21st century to today, and Sangakkara, Adam Gilchrist would be the two names that will come to the fore. And he's very, very special. And for me, even though I'm sitting here in Sydney, Australia, he's the best wicket-keeping batsman that I have seen.
Brian, before I come across to Sunny, when one looked at your batting, it was your incredible backlift that you somehow managed to bring your back down, and that superb quality of timing which you had. That was visually delight. It was a visual delight for people across the world. You scored bundles of runs. From a technical standpoint, what is it that made Sangakkara Sangakkara? Brian, go ahead.
Was that for me?
Yes, Brian, before I come to Sunny. Yeah, Brian.
I think, yeah. I think it's his ability to play on all pitches around the world. Everybody would say, he's from Sri Lanka. You go to the Premadasa Stadium, everybody's expecting him to score runs there at Galle, but he has traveled around the world as a Sri Lankan batsman and scored runs in almost every single country that he's played in. He's just a very confident player. His head is very still at the crease, and he knows what he's doing, a seasoned campaigner. And he got better with age. And he was just, I mean, hard to explain, but it was just something very special to see.
Okay, Sunny, as a right-handed batsman, what is it about Jayawardene's batting that struck you as being, I don't know, different or better from a technical standpoint?
Well, for one, he was probably the most elegant of right-hand batsmen you could see. He had time. He had lots of time to play. And like the man sitting on my left, if what Brian was with left-handed batting, I thought Mahela was with right-handed batting, in the sense that both these batsmen are the two batsmen that I have seen who were good with both hands. You know, when you hold the bat in your hand, the top hand is the one that looks for the driving and the shots in front of the stumps, and with the bottom hand is the one where you play square of the wicket. And I have not seen two batsmen who used the top, who were so good with both hands as Mahela Jayawardene and Brian Lara. So all I can say about Mahela is, I mean, he was my favorite batsman for so many years. You know, he was the one I was always wanting to watch, Mahela Jayawardene. I'm sorry that he's going to quit, but let me say this: Mahela Jayawardene was to right-handed batting what Brian Lara was to left-handed batting.
Well, that's yet another compliment for you, Brian. And thank you, gentlemen, both very much for joining us. Tomorrow is going to be a fun game. And I'm sure you'll both agree that, and this is what one of the Aussie players actually tweeted about Sangha and Jayawardene: quality, class and humility. 3 words. I think that defined these two batsmen. I'd like to thank both of you for joining us. Nikhil, Naz, I'm not done with our discussion as yet. I know you've been waiting very patiently. You need to head out over there for a quick bite. But before we do that, what's the mood among Indian cricket fans over there? Sunny was mentioning on your show earlier on that in fact it could be 50-50 in Melbourne among Bangladeshi supporters and Indian fans. Is that what you're reading? What's the vibe in Melbourne?
Well, Vishnu, I doubt it will be 50-50. I know that Mr. Gavaskar mentioned that because he thought that not many Indian fans booked their tickets in advance, because at the last moment they found out India would be playing in Melbourne. But trust me, I met a lot of Indian fans at the MCG today. I was at the ground the whole day today covering the press conferences of both teams, and there were a lot of Indian fans. In fact, even the Bangladeshi captain accepted this fact. He said that yes, he expects a lot of Indian fans. He said yes, Bangladeshi supporters would be there, but at best 20%. So 90,000 fans packed into the iconic MCG, most of them would be Indians. And as you talk about the mood, well, I spoke to a few Indian fans here, and they weren't even talking about the quarterfinals. Well, you know, they were talking to me about the semi-final. They were asking me questions whether India would be able to beat Australia in the semi-final. For them, this quarterfinal is done and dusted. It's just a formality. India will walk over Bangladesh and they will face Australia in the semi-final. That is what the fans think at the moment, but the reality could be slightly different, Vishnu.
Okay, and what's the mood of the Indian team? I was reading some reports suggesting that they're relaxed, they're calm. We know that they're a settled unit. Is there tension, nervousness, apprehension, any niggles, anything of the sort?
Oh, none at all. You would expect the same 11 to play, no injuries for the Indian team, and as you talk about the mood, they have been fairly relaxed. They've got a gap also between their last group game and this quarterfinal, so they were relaxed. They in fact spent an extra day in New Zealand, in Auckland. After that game, came here, have been relaxed, came the 2 days before this game and just did some fielding drills, did not put bat to ball, didn't do any net practice, just played a bit of soccer just to warm themselves up. Just today, a day before the game, they had an intense net practice session, planning strategies for the game ahead, because we had Suresh Raina, the Indian player, speak to the media before this game, and he said that they understand these are the knockouts. You cannot take any team lightly. They've been watching how Bangladesh has been playing in the tournament, so they'll be up for this game. Relaxed, yes, but also very well prepared, I'd have to say.
All right, Nikhil, thanks very much for joining us. Thanks very much indeed. Well, there you have it. It's going to be a huge day at the World Cup of Cricket tomorrow. India versus Bangladesh in the quarterfinals. Let's see how far India can go in this tournament. Will we actually win the World Cup? That's the big question. We're completely out of time. Thanks very much for being with us.